Welcome to Cackling in the Void.
I'm Ashley.
And I'm Kaylee.
Let's see if the void echoes back today.
We're two best friends diving deeper into the void with Iron Flames chapters 49 through 51.
Today we're doing a little 3 chapters.
I know. I was like, today we're doing a little bit of a longer chapter segment, only because the chapters were kind of short and we thought they flowed really well together. So
yeah, we've had some big things happening for the past 10 chapters, so we had to do little tiny segments, and these are definitely more of the let's breathe for a minute, everything's okay, and things are still happening, but it's definitely the let's breathe and we're all good, just take a breath.
Yeah, I would definitely say that these chapters are a lot more emotionally heavy than they are fight action sequence heavy or even
for sure
sex heavy type of chapters, so it is fun to kind of see the difference in this, but jumping right into chapter 49, we start off and we are at the point where the drifts and the squads are being configured and put together. And so, lo and behold, I think everybody could kind of see the foreshadowing coming up to see which drift gets paired with which squad, but Kat and Violet's drifts and squads have been put together, and so now they are the new Iron Squad drift.
Yeah.
The squad!
Because they even say...
Sorry.
And Violet even says, because Bree and Riddick are kind of, and Sawyer are like, why did they put them with us? They know of the history and blah, 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 blah. And Violet's like, they were the strongest drift.
Yeah,
that's what's going to happen. So they put the strongest drift with the strongest squad.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And so it does make sense, but it's also fun in these chapters because we get to see a little bit more of the squad again, which is fun.
I do. It's been a little bit.
Yeah, I think it's been a bit.
And they are like, ugh, I don't want to, Riddick especially is like, I don't want to give them these patches because now they get the Iron Squad patch because they're now part of the squad. And Riddick's like, do we have to? I really don't want to. And Bree, is about to take it to Kat, and Violet's like, no, I got it. I'll do it.
Yeah.
Basically. And she's like, are you sure? I'm like, yeah, I'll be fine. Because now we just got off, the last time we saw Kat was when, they were fighting that literally Violet's about to kill her. So, all of the squad mates are like, is this the best idea, Violet? Because I don't think so. And she's like, no, it's okay. And she goes over and Kat's like, what are these patches for? And really getting upset. And really, you could tell she's really trying to amplify Violet's emotions again, which is, it's interesting to see her try to do it without it actually working, because you can really see the desperation about it.
Yeah. It's very, very much like that. She does do certain things to push it. And and if you're not bothered by it, it does seem, as she has used before, that even Xaden was like, yeah, it bothers people. It's annoying. Xaden has even said it. So it's not even necessarily her saying that it annoys him, but it's really just him saying yeah, it's annoying, and it's annoying to watch.
Yeah, once you get your emotions under control and you know that what she's doing, you understand, and you know how to control your own emotions, it's really annoying. And it's so obvious that it's so annoying. And you could see that because it is such a desperate attempt to do it. It's very, very wow. And now, because Violet has control over her emotions, and she's also wearing her daggers, which, as we learned, are going to, really help her with that.
Yeah.
Because of the ruins, she is so because we're seeing it from her point of view, we're now seeing you're right. that is a lot.
Yeah, just because like they are like snarky, like snide comments, you know? Mm-hmm. They are just, and here's the thing is it's like normally it would upset Violet because of how much her squad means to her, how much writers take pride in these patches as well. You know, a lot, especially their squad is really proud of the patches that they have, especially because of how much these patches mean to her. It makes sense why Kat would start with that. And it's like a very little thing to kind of like jab at Violet's pride of like, oh, what are these? Like, why is it even necessary to say what squad you're in? That sounds so silly because us as Griffins who are more superior flyers, you know, like just like the way that it starts out could be very easy. But, you know, Kat is quickly realizing that it's not working. And she kind of gives like this look
of like squinting her eyes and everything like that. And Violet's like, and she does bring up the crown again. And, you know, Violet's comeback is like, oh, did you know that Tyrandor hasn't had a crown in over 600 years because they melted them all for the unification? And, you know, Kat's just like mind boggled. She's like, oh my god. But she's not going to say that out loud, obviously. But she, you know, and Violet does say, she's like, I love this. There's no tinge of jealousy or rage. And she's like, I love my daggers for a whole new reason. This is great. And, you know, they do, once again, like, she's like, what do you do with these patches? And Riddick does go over and it's like, you sew them on. Like, and she's like, yeah. Violet's like, that just seems like he's talking to a child, and this is great.
Yeah. Because you're looking at a patch being like, what do you do with this?
I don't know.
You put them on your clothes?
Yeah, and she's like, do you not see my thing? And she's like, and Violet does go like, I know Xaden didn't wear them, he just didn't like that. And Kat's like, I know that. I know everything about him. And she's like, okay.
Yeah, and I like that she also follows that up, like, I know everything about him, and I know exactly what he likes. And then this is when, like, Violet kind of leans in and is like, oh, hey, you know that finger trick thing? I just want to say thanks. It was perfect. Like, yeah, just, like the little jab of that. And then, obviously, Kat gets, like, really much upset. More clued into what's going on and about how much it's not working. And just kind of like gives her like this like look of maybe this is going to be a little bit more different than I thought it was gonna go.
Yeah.
And then Violet's like, I think I'm gonna go to the library. Well, or what is the library? The
archives?
They call it something else, I thought.
Archives?
Do they still call it an archive here? Is it different?
Let me see. Nope, she says plants in the library.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And immediately she's like, oh, I have plans in the archive. And the library. And Sawyer's like, the library? Me too, I'll go. I'm like, I love him. And, you know, Ree goes with them. And then Riddick's like, if you three are going, I'll go. And then Pat's like, you guys don't need to come with me. It's okay. But the way Sawyer immediately was like, the library? I can go. Oh my gosh.
That's where you're going? Do you think I can tag along? Just
please, casually? Do you think that'd be okay? You can go there with me and help? That'd be great. Yeah.
Make sure everything's good. I also love how they were like, oh yeah, we kind of just did it to get away from Kat. I just didn't want to. I was annoyed and I could not do that right now.
Couldn't do it. Yeah, and like you could tell that they're all scared of Kat because even Sawyer's like, her abilities are horrifying. What if she decides to make me hate you? And like, you know, they're kind of going on like, or Xaden hate you, or like, what if something this is terrible? And so then Violet does start explaining like, no, like she can only amplify emotions. She can't create emotions for you. So just have control of your emotions and you'll be okay.
Yeah,
and they're immediately like, we could kill her.
Yeah. They're just like, nah, I mean, we could just, you know.
But
get rid of her, call it a day. Didn't have to jump through so many hoops, you know.
Yeah, it's like, just make it look like, they're at their weakest right now because the Griffins are still half asleep all day. And they still don't have their full power. So, I mean, we could just make it look like an accident. Her Griffin died.
Yeah. I love Andarna just, like, popping in. We could feed her to Sigale. Like, just immediately. Like, we could just feed her to Sigale. It'd be cool. I think she'd eat her.
Yeah.
So, you know.
I really love Andarna. I think she's just so fun, this book, because it's that really, like, adolescent, like...
Yeah, she's a teenager. She's, like...
Yeah. And she just wants to eat everything. I understand.
Yeah, she's just hungry.
Yeah.
She's just hungry, and I get that, girl.
Yeah. And Violet's like, no, it's fine, you guys. We don't need to do that. Yeah. And Ree's like, okay, but if you need help bearing a body, just let me know. Like, immediately.
Just let us know.
Her squad is really ride or die friends. Mm-hmm. Quite literally. Like.
Absolutely.
And, Violet's also like, we can't, she's our squad mate now. Because in the codex, like, you're not allowed to kill your squad mates. And so they make it to the library, and Riddick, whatever.
Sawyer.
Thank you.
And Sawyer signs good morning to Violet first, and then says, that was right, correct? And she was like, yeah, go for it. And then you just see, like, Sawyer run off to see, like, find Yesenia, basically.
And then all of them. I love it so much, because I think Yesenia was starting to walk out, too.
Yeah, and he's like they see Yesenia.
And he turns around and, like, signs to Violet. And then she's like, yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
Go that way. And, oh, so cute. Second of all, and it does say, like, all three, like, Riddick, Rhea, and Sawyer. Nope, Riddick, Rhea, and Violet are all watching. And I just imagine them, like, the elbows on the table, like, oh my gosh.
I mean,
like,
I don't even,
they're not...
It's either elbows on the table or book open, and then they're like this.
Oh, yeah, like, not covering their eyes. Yeah. Like, just covering their mouth.
Making it so obvious that this is what they're doing, like, over the book thing.
Fact. Yeah, they know for a fact that Sawyer knows they're watching. It's very non. It
is very obvious. I could not imagine it not being obvious, especially if Riddick is there.
Yeah, and I do love how Riddick's like, my way would have been more fun.
It would be. And then they're looking at the books that are there, and they are making kind of a comment, and they're like, oh, Violet, I didn't know that, like, Crovelish was your specialty. And Violet's like, it's not.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, whose is it? And lo and behold, Ashley's favorite character pops up.
Yeah, because Violet is in the library trying to find her center. Like, that's her goal. She's like, I need to, like, find and, like, breathe. Like, I'm not doing great. And my favorite character comes out because they're like, oh, is Crovelish... Wow, that was butchered, but that's okay. Yesenia's language, like, specialty. And she's like, nope. And they're like, well, whose is it? And then Dane walks through and she's like, it's his.
Yep.
And
fucking
I do really, and I know you like this scene too, actually.
I do, but I think I'll talk about it in this. I'll talk about it in the spoiler section about what I think that this scene means.
I'll also talk about a point because I can talk about it briefly here, but we
can talk about it briefly. But I'm sorry, but mine. I know my point goes into a spoiler section.
Write it down.
Yeah.
And I do love how Dane is like, you asked to see me, no orders, no nothing. And she, like, Violet hesitates. And then she's like, he stabbed Varish, and he chose the truth, and he chose to come with people that hated him because he knew it was the truth. And she was like, I need your help. And he was like, all right, let's do it. Like, immediately, no hesitation. All right, let's do it. And she does say, she's like, just like that, I remember why he was one of my favorite people on this continent. Yeah. I know that, especially Kaylee, has issues with Dane, and a lot of people do, at least he was a ride or die friend.
Yeah. Like, there are certain parts that I'm like, hey, there's some good things that like, he does possess good qualities. It's not that he doesn't. It's just big boundary that was crossed, and really hard to get over.
Yep. And so they're like studying and like going over this journal, and he's like, well, that's not the word for rain. Like, that's wrong. And, Violet's like, I'm pretty sure it is. And he's like, well, did you ask Yesenia? And she's like, she thought it was rain too. And she was like, but she specializes in... Oh, God. Morandian? I know that's wrong. I don't know how to say that.
I don't remember the pronunciation.
Here, you can try.
I don't think it's gonna go over any better. Me.
This is why we listen to audiobooks, you guys. We can't say shit.
We can't read. It's different.
No. Moranian? I spelled it wrong.
Cool.
Can't tell you. Anyway. So she specializes in a different language. And Violet is like shocked, and he's like, what? Like, I listen to what you say, Violet. At least I used to. Like, I listen to you.
And then Violet's hard-hitting question is, well, when did you stop? Because Violet is also still upset about the friendship being ruined.
I mean, so valid of her. That was a terrible, terrible way for her friendship to end. Like, there's one thing if it, like, just kind of fizzles out, but, like, betraying trust like that? No. And there's always going to be, no matter how much you recover and you can forgive them, you can't forget 100%. You know what I mean? And it's like, you could get closer again, you could still be friends, but there's still going to be that, I'm not going to let you touch me because I don't believe you anymore. Like, I can't know for 100% fact you will not do this again. Because you've done it once.
Yeah, it's also, like, just, like, the idea of, like, I don't know. I don't know if the friendship will ever be as repaired as, like, well, first of all, it could never go back to the way that it was. You know, things have ultimately changed for always. And, he says that he's like, you know what? I stopped listening to you the day that I crossed the parapet. And that was like his day that he just couldn't do it. And, she recognizes that. Like, she's like, hey, like, yeah, the parapet changes all of us. It even changed me.
Like, everybody. And he's like, well, are you the same person that crossed the parapet? And she was like, no, I guess not. Like, I'm not, but
yeah,
I wouldn't do that. Like,
yeah.
And he does say, he's like, I didn't, hold on. Oh, I got it. Ha 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 ha. It's like, living strictly by the codex will do that to you. And, like, part of me wonders why they push it so hard on us. They transform us into perfect weapons to teach us to critically think about everything except the codex and the orders they give. I love how that was worded, actually. I really love how that was worded. And I really had to write this down. This was so important. Dane has a beard.
Yeah. Also,
I've never imagined him with a beard. And I don't know if it said they had a beard earlier. I think we had this realization in book 1. But I don't imagine him with a beard.
I mean, I guess, like, maybe the beard helps in when flying, like his face is a little bit warmer.
Maybe, but it's just I really didn't imagine.
I don't know. The beard is
he like rubbed the scruff of his brown beard. First of all, brown beard. What?
Yeah, I mean, I imagine Dane as a
brown. So he's a brunette. Yeah. Really, I imagined him more as like a dirty blonde.
No, I imagined him as a brunette.
You're wrong.
No. That's
really
because
a dirty blonde.
No, I imagined him as like a very light brown, like a teddy bear brown, like a very like light teddy bear.
Narrow it down, Kaylee. There's tons of different colors of teddy bears.
Whatever.
But I imagine it as like a dirty blonde, like on the cusp of like really light brown, but dirty blonde, like still blonde.
No.
So it's just weird, and I did not imagine this man with a beard, and so it was just baffling. She said that, and I was like, "What?" And I had to write it down because I was so baffled, and this needed to be a conversation. And I'm so glad that you share my thoughts as well. Thank you.
Yeah.
And, they, translating this book, and she's like, yeah, I skipped to this part. And he looks at her, she's like, you skipped? You, of all people, didn't read the book from front to back? And
I know, right?
Yeah, seriously. And, they're just kind of having this, like, conversation that's a very casual conversation, and Violet's like, in her head, she's like, I need to get up, I need to leave, this feels too real, and it feels too much like it used to be. I can't do that. I know what happened, and it's too dangerous.
Yeah, and it's hard because it's like Violet mentioned it like every single time. That's what I think Dane looks like. Every single time.
What?
I think like she mentions every single time she sees him and she looks at Dane, she's like, I can't look at you and not see Liam dead.
Yeah.
Like, I can't look at you and not think about Liam. I can't look at you and think about, and not think about him.
Yeah.
Dying.
And, he really goes into actually a pretty well-worded apology. Yeah, he did a pretty good job, because he goes, he just says, like, are we going to finally talk about what happened? Because they have not talked about it yet.
They haven't talked about it. They have not
talked. She just says, don't touch me. Don't fucking touch me. Get away from me.
Because it is one of those things where we can see now that Violet has this pattern of not talking about things with people.
Important things. Like, she'll talk about other things, but not big, important conversations that need to be had. And so I really, really liked his apology because it did feel really, really genuine. And just the way he goes about it, because she, like we said, likes to avoid these type of conversations because they're hard.
Yes.
They're really hard conversations, and it's easier to avoid them to have them. But you need to have them because avoiding will only do so much, and that's not going to fix anything. And obviously, it's just important to talk about your feelings. Don't bother women. And so
it's unfortunate. It's crazy, but it's a thing.
He says, I'm sorry, Violet. And then, she's kind of like, it feels like it should be imbued. Because she wants to imbue the stone. And she's like, can't you imbue? And he's like, yeah. And so she's really trying to redirect this conversation.
She doesn't even ask him. She just is like, are you imbuing the stone? And he was like, yeah, that's what you want, right? And she was like, yeah. Like, she doesn't even ask him. She does say, do you know how to imbue? And he sighs and stands up. Yeah.
Yeah,
and then, like, not an ask. It's just like, hey, can you do that?
Yeah. It's not do it. It's...
Yeah. Like, do you know how?
I apologize if anybody hears my stomach growling. I'm apparently quite hungry.
Valid. Mine's starting to go off, too.
Yeah. And so he's like, I'm sorry for the role I played in their deaths. I'm so fucking sorry. And she does ask, she's like, did you steal my memories every time you touched my face last year? And he says, no. And I was like, really? And she nods.
Well,
and
he
pivots
does
to-
say that, like, the first time was an accident, though.
Yeah. And then she was like, so just when you needed information you couldn't ask for? I love that she called him out on that. So good.
It's one of those things where it's like, we love that, like, she called him out on that, but also, once again, we're seeing that Violet isn't a especially great communicator in general. So.
No. And it's I know how a lot of people feel about Dane, but this is a very important conversation for him to have, along with Violet.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, he says, I did it by accident the first time. I was just so used to touching you. So that's I don't know how I feel about that. But that's okay. And you got so close to Ryerson, and my father had pretty much bragged about the way your mother cut into him. I knew he had to be after revenge, but you wouldn't listen to me. And, you know, she's like, well, he was never out for revenge.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, I know that now. I fucked up. I fucked up and trusted my dad when I should have trusted your judgment, and there's nothing I could say or do that's going to bring Liam back. Mm-hmm. And, you know, now, and she's like, no, there's not. Like, and, you know, she's really starting to have a hard time. Like, she's starting to cry. So valid. And she's like, I'm so sorry, Violet. And I absolutely do love how she goes, it's not all right. I don't even know how to start about making this all right. I just know I can't talk, or I can't think about Liam and look at you at the same time without. I don't want to hate you, Dane, but I'm not sure I'll ever be able to. And then it shifts because he's, like, imbuing the stone. And he's like, yeah. And then they kind of shift the conversation that way. But I do really love how he openly was like, I fucked up and I trusted my dad over your judgment. I shouldn't have done that.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is a great acknowledgement for him to, like, actually say that he was wrong.
Mm-hmm. And I do love, and it's I understand why not why he touched, like, but I understand why he trusted his dad over her judgment. Because it's his dad. And if
and then also at the time,
stuff like that.
At the time when you're thinking about, like, when it happened, you deeply believed that he was a traitor, and, like, deeply believed that, you know, Navarre was right.
Mm-hmm. And so I feel like this was a very, very mature conversation for Dane to have.
Mm-hmm.
And it's something book one Dane wouldn't have been able to do. I think he had a lot of self-reflection when he was locked in a room.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that probably happened, you know.
And, you know, he starts imbuing the stone, and she's like, wow, how fascinating. And he's like, I need your help with the journal, and that's not fair because it's hard to, like, turn my head and read. And that's not fair because I need to know that we won't talk about Liam again, at least not until I have more distance. And this is also a very, very mature conversation for Violet to have. And I'm being able to, it's very hard when someone apologizes, not to just say, oh, it's okay. Like, I really love how she was like, this is not okay. And I can't have this conversation. I'm not ready. And I love how she does acknowledge it's not okay. I don't care if you apologize over and over. This was not okay, and I am not ready to forgive you for this.
Which is, I think, also very okay for her to say in terms of, like, taking care of herself, as well as, like, letting him back in. I also think that it's very mature on his part to say, okay, like, if you still need more time, if you still need more space, like, I can do that, but if you need me to help you, I can still help you, you know?
Yeah. It was
in terms of, like, taking that step back and respecting her boundary that she was finally setting. And at least it's one of those things where it's like, once again, we see that Violet doesn't like to communicate, because this could have been a conversation much earlier. Dane has been there with them in Erasia the entire time. And it's not until now that we're finally getting, like, this resolution of something that happened in book one.
Yeah. And it's
you know?
I understand why it took her as long as it did, but she definitely needs to work on her communication. Because this is a really hard, like, she's still grieving Liam. And like she said, like, she can't look at Dane and not think of Liam. And so I completely get why they haven't had this conversation yet. Yeah. But she really needs to work on her communication.
Mm-hmm. And also, even, like, during the conversation, it was kind of mentioned, you know, when she asks him, like, why did he stop listening to her, kind of, or like, when did he stop, she does kind of mention, yeah, I've changed after the parapet, and the reason why our friendship has also changed is because you couldn't trust me. And the fact that you never used to do that when we were kids. Like, when we were kids, you let me grow. You let me make my own mistakes. But then when we got into the quadrant together, you thought that I couldn't make those mistakes. That you knew what was best for me and you didn't. Which is, like, the hardest part about it.
Like, he didn't let her grow up.
Exactly.
Yeah. And he does say, like, I was so adamant about wanting to keep you safe in the scribe quadrant, so that when you showed up in writer's black and crossed the parapet, I was just taken aback.
Mm-hmm. Taken aback. And also slightly heartbroken. Mm-hmm. Because he does say, like, when he is trying to do that, he says that I was just trying to give you everything that I thought that you wanted. Yeah. Everything that, like, we had talked about as kids, and I wanted to give that to you.
And, you know, so they're talking about imbuing the stone. And, you know, he's like, I have one question about Ryerson. And, you know, Violet is like, be really careful about what you just say. Like, be careful. Like, don't be dumb. Be
careful about what you say about him.
And he says, are you in love with him? And his voice breaks on the last word. And he says, because Garrick and I heard the end of what he... So sorry. Because Garrick and I heard the end of what he said in the interrogation chamber. And trust me, I might be in love with him after that declaration. But are you, really and truly? And she says, yes. And that's never going to change. And he nods and goes, then I'll trust him as much as you do. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, which is... It's one of those things where I think...
I'm here for character growth.
I think it's really interesting how many times Dane needs to hear her say that she's in love with him. Because technically, she declared love for him at the end of the first book, right before Liam goes and dies.
Mm-hmm.
And then she did it again. And then she did it again in the beginning of Iron Flame. And she's doing it again. And he's like, are you positive? Are you sure? Are you for sure?
Yeah.
Are you
never
for sure?
Fully, like, I feel like there's a big difference between, like, the last couple times that he asked her and this time. Like, this time it was genuinely, we need to have, like, this one, like, I heard what he said. I might be in love with him. Do you love him really and truly? And then I'll trust him. And that's where I'm like, I'm ready to go on my rant now.
Okay.
I am so here for his character growth and his character arc. I'm so here for it because I feel like he has a lot of potential. And I feel like he has a lot to grow and a lot to, like, figure out about his own life and figure out all of these things. But I do not want a redemption arc because to me, there's a difference between him becoming a better person and a better character and things like this than a redemption arc because this book is in Violet's POV. A redemption arc would be Violet fully, wholeheartedly trusting him, forgiving him and everything for what he did. And I don't think she will ever be able to do that because he killed, in, like, a roundabout way, killed her best friend. He is the reason Liam is gone because of what he did. And also, just in a nutshell, that's a very violating feeling to have somebody look through all of your memories and everything like that. That's not something you can just get over. It's a crack in a friendship and it'll never be filled. The cement is fake and it's okay. And so, to me, I want him to become a better person. We're seeing it here. Like he's trying.
Mm-hmm.
He's making the effort to become a better person. He's becoming a stronger character and things like that. But I don't want it to be a redemption arc because I think that they could be friends again, but there's still distance. The crack is never going to go away now. You could fill it with cement, but the cement's not as stable as it was. It's like the crack's never going to go away. And it's I don't want the redemption, but I want the character arc. There's a difference.
Okay. Good job, Ashley.
Thank you. And I'm very passionate about it because
she is.
She's so
very,
much potential.
Very passionate about it.
I am, because I know Kaylee's not. Okay.
I mean,
you're not
here's
as
the thing
passionate
is,
about it.
I'm passionate about people being a good friend.
Yeah.
Passionate about people stepping up. I think like this conversation shows a lot about the character growth that he's even gone on. So I agree with
Ashley.
Ashley.
I'm curious to see where he's gonna land in the end of the series. I know you're not Violet. What? I know Kaylee thinks that he's gonna sacrifice himself for Violet, and I'm just so curious to see what's gonna happen.
I just think that there are many things that lead up to that happening
that we haven't even seen yet.
All I can say. That's why I'm going to talk about my points in the spoiler.
But I do absolutely... I was really excited to come back to this conversation. Mm-hmm. And it did live up to what I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And I appreciated it more.
Nice to see all of the men in Violet's life really step up and want to communicate. And in a roundabout ways force her to communicate as well. So I think like that's really nice. That is where chapter 49 leaves off, and so we're going to jump into chapter 50 unless Ashley has anything else to say.
I do not, but chapter 50 is very short. I mean, our entire notes fits on a page without scrolling. This is mind-boggling. It has not been like this since I started taking notes in the very beginning.
I don't think it's ever been like this.
When I took notes in the beginning, it was. When it was just Violet did this.
It was different. You just didn't get the flow of notes. The flow of notes. And now she has a great flow. It's going great. She's doing such a great job.
Thank you. So chapter 50 starts off with Violet is training with Felix again. And, she almost hits a rock and she's like, I hit it. And he's like, the rock's still there. You didn't hit it. And he's like, well, okay then, if you think you can aim. And he, holds the conduit literally, right next to him. He's like, hit the conduit. And she's like, I'm going to kill you. And he's like, well, I thought you can aim. I really love Felix.
It's like, good thing you can aim, Yeah. I love that. Good thing you can really aim because you're right. I would die if you can't do it.
Yeah. And, they kind of keep going on. And he's like, everybody gets their signature from somewhere. Like, you get it. There's an energy field from the sky. There's energy field with magic and everything like that. And he's like, Violet, you're the greatest energy field. So you can control this. You just need to learn how. And he's like, just take a little strand and I want you to just take a little bit and focus it on the conduit and hit the conduit with just the string of lightning. And she's like, what? Baffled. And she just slightly opens the door to Taryn's magic archive, whatever, in her archives. And she's like, she openly admits, she's like, this is beautiful. This is really pretty. She's like, I love that my signet can be pretty, not just destruction. And, he's like, you can't be afraid of yourself. And she's like, how could I be? This is beautiful. Or you can't be afraid of your signet. And she's like, well, this is beautiful. I can't be. I'm afraid of myself. And I love how Taryn's like, you shouldn't be. And she's like, well, how Taryn... Oh, go ahead. Yeah, you say this part.
I love that Taryn is there to kind of just be reassure her, but also reassure her in such a roundabout way. It's she's like, oh, but I'm scared of myself. And just immediately, you shouldn't be. Yeah. And then, Violet immediately is like, what is it like to walk through life just so self-assured? What is that like? And Taryn's like, I don't know, just life. Like, well, what do you mean? It's life. Like, you should, what do just very like nonchalant, but I love how caring Taryn actually is. It's one of those things I'm like,
really
I love
he
how
acts like he doesn't, but he cares so much. And
he is a Karen dragon.
He is. And he, so then Felix is kind of like starting to walk backwards, and he's like, okay, give it a little bit more power. Hold it. And then she, does end up having to, like, she's like, move, and like strikes like 30 feet away because it was just a little too much. And he was like, okay, your homework this week, because it's like Friday or something. She's like, by Monday, you need to be able to have this steady stream, hold it 10 feet away. And she's like, what? Like, that's impossible. And he's like, you're right. Make it 15.
Yeah, which I think is really interesting. And then he looks at her and says, oh, we need Xaden and you to come to this meeting. And she was like, oh, Xaden's on here. And then she lets down her shields and sees that Xaden is there and kind of realizes that he's number one, home early, but that he's like anxious and angry and just upset. She can already like feel it through the bond that he's really, really like kind of angry with this thing.
Yeah. And like she's like, is that like, oh, you're home early? And he's like, yeah. And he's like, she's like, do you want to talk about it? And he's like, no. Like immediately she's just like, cutting everything out.
Yeah. And she goes back in and sees Garrick and Bodhi and Heaton, and she sees that Heaton now has like this giant contusion on his face and his like has a broken arm, and Bodhi and Garrick just both look defeated. She's like, what happened? And we come to find out that the Venom took over Pavis, which is a city very close to them.
Yeah. And they are like, that's only an hour's flight from Drathis, which is, super close to them. And they're like, they took 7 of them and a horde of wyverns. The town was overrun before we even got there. Like, it was so quick and so not good.
Yeah.
And Naira Voltaren fell too, holding the front line. And
and
Naira's
she was one of the she was a third year, but she was also like one of the toughest cadets there. That like
and Violet's even like, oh wow, like she never fell, like she never like stuttered, like she was just always such a force.
Yes. And it comes to find out that she was trained just like Soleil, and so her and her dragon were. It's one of those things where they openly say it's like they're husks of themselves, like they just there was nothing left,
which is really scary.
Yeah, it's terrifying, and then and especially because they're so close to where they are. And just openly, they said they're coming for us.
Yeah. Like, that's what it is. Like, and there's no way around that. And that's where the chapter ends. It's a very short chapter.
Yeah, and that's where that's where the chapter ends. And now we're on 51.
Did you have any thoughts on that chapter before we?
I mean, I thought that it was interesting to see how Violet realized that she could really shape her signet into other things and into like certain things. I find like this type of character character training growth is really interesting because like we said earlier, even she said it earlier, like, oh, I was just trained just to like pop it off as like strong and as much and as hard as I possibly can without any type of aiming or anything, which I thought really did make her scared of herself. make her
and it's also the
second
more
guess herself. And so I think with her being as a calculated and controlled person she is, her having a signet that is in her mind was uncontrollable or had no boundaries was scary for her. And so I think this is like now the start of her training, honing, and actually being the quote unquote weapon that she actually wants to be.
Yeah. And I also do love how she admits that her signet's beautiful in this. Like she's like, how could I be
she finally
afraid
acknowledges
of this? Like, it's beautiful. Because it's just like, she's like, it's just like when you're plucking and darkness magic, it's just actually there.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just a different flow of energy. And she was like, it's pretty. Like, I like it. And I really like that.
Yeah, but then also it's like the fact that they are so close. Now that the Venom are so close, we're finally feeling the pressure that has been talked about for 2 books.
Yes,
you know,
well, kind of book 1, not much of.
Yeah, like we're feeling it a lot more. You know,
the intensity is kicking up, and it's. I mean, we're in the final 15 chapters, so I mean, the climax is coming. Everybody, get ready.
Yeah, the second climax, because now we're in part 2.
That's true.
Part 1's climax already happened.
Yeah. And so, jumping into 51, Xaden is sitting on the roof, and Violet, goes and finds him, and, like, walks across the roof, and, I mean, roofs are twanky. So, like, walking, and she openly admits, she's like, I see why you were so good at the parapet. And, he says this, he said it in book 1, but he says it again, where it's, I told you not to risk your life to come talk to me. And she's like, it's fine, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, literally. And it is, she does say, she's like, well, you told me in your letters that you would sit up here when you're upset, and also you sat up here waiting for your dad to come home. And I was like, that's really sad.
I mean, that was part of his life.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that he felt comfortable enough to share that with her.
And she brought him a piece of chocolate cake. And, she's like, I know this chocolate cake isn't going to fix anything, but to be fair, bless you?
Yes, thank you. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. I didn't know what it was. I was like, are we laughing? What are we laughing about?
Yeah, no, I'm like, yeah, it's okay. Thank you.
You're good. And she's like, I brought this before but in my defense, I brought this before I realized what happened, and I thought you just had a shit day. And he's like, well, I'm not used to people taking care of me, so, like, thanks. And she's like, we'll get used to it.
Yeah, because they now are actually taking care of each other, and I think that this is something that they both want to set for themselves and to set for each other too. And it's nice to see, like, these past, like, 4 chapters have just been really emotionally driven, which is nice because, a lot of the book is physical, like fighting and things like that. So it's really nice. She ties the emotional and physical stuff quite well. And it's really fun to see that and just see, like, how emotions drive the physical aspect. And this is the first time we really see Xaden anxious in this sense. And this
be
is
able
like
to talk about it.
Yeah, this is the first time we ever see Xaden really talk about what's going on and, like, how close the threat is. And, he does say, like, I'm not used to, like, people taking care of me, and she's like, get used to it. And then just, like, kind of, like, she's like, oh, like, yeah, she's like, how is the weather,
Yeah,
like,
it looks like we're gonna get
it's been pretty good,
maybe about 7 inches.
And she's like, yeah, maybe we're gonna get about, like, 7 inches of snow. And he's like, I bet we can get 7 inches in tonight, maybe if you're good,
Yeah, it's like we'll get 7 inches tonight. Well, maybe more if you're good. Like, sir.
Yeah. And she's like, you're making, like, why are you making dick jokes right now? And he's like, and you're talking about the weather. So, like, I don't know what you want from me. And then, he openly was like, I'd rather you just, like, stop being considerate and just ask.
Yeah, like, just ask me what's wrong.
I would rather just you stop being, like, this, like, considerate person where, like, oh, I gotta be coy about it. Like, no, just fucking ask me now.
Mm-hmm. Like, we just had this long, in-depth conversation. Please just ask me. I just need you to ask. And in that aspect, I very much agree. Like, I don't like his asking game, for the most part. Because I'm like, you need to be able to talk about your emotions without it being prompted, sir. But I do like in this aspect, I like, he's like, you can just ask me what happened. Like, you don't need to be considerate, just ask. Because even that's like, her asking is being considerate. Mm-hmm. Because it's her making sure he's okay. And so, in that sense, I like how he's just like, you just need to ask me. But I don't like his game where it's I'm not going to tell you anything unless you ask. Like, yes, she needs to learn to ask those type of questions, but also he needs to learn to talk about his emotions without it being prompted.
I agree. But also, she needs to kind of learn to do the same thing sometimes.
Exactly. I agree. And that's why I'm like, they just need to grow. And it's okay. They'll grow. They can do it.
As this is happening, they both realize that, like, Sigale and Taryn blocked them both out, which means that they're fighting. That, like, Taryn and Sigale are fighting right now. I mean, couples fight. It happens.
Yeah. But it is so... I do love how they... Both of, I feel like, the couples, Xanet and Violet, Taryn and Sigale, it's this is our own personal thing, and you don't need to be involved in it.
Exactly, yeah. Yes. It is very much that, where it is... hey, this is our business. You guys deal with your own shit, and we'll deal with ours. Yeah. In that sense of the term. And
he starts talking about what happened. Mm-hmm. And he just openly is like, "We're outmatched. Like, we flew there, and it was bigger than the rest, and it was 10 times the size. Like 10 times the amount, and 10 times the amount of citizens." And again, like, this is the first time we're really seeing this, like, he's so tense. And, like, he's always tense, but, like, we're seeing him express it. And it's just we're outmatched. And he's just, we've never seen him ramble about his anxieties and his thoughts like that. Mm-hmm. This is the first time we're seeing that.
Yeah, and we've never seen him doubt his cause, if, like, to say that, like, and to be like, we might not win. It's always been, no, we're gonna win. We're gonna win because I'm here and you're here and this is it, and we have to. And now we're finally seeing him say, we're outmatched. And it's very apparent to him. He said they could take us whenever they want. I don't know why they haven't.
We're just a nuisance to them. We can't hold the line.
Mm-hmm. I have no fucking idea, like, why they're not here. And, like, there's so many more, like, Wyvern. And there's so many more venom.
Yeah.
Are you okay?
I just heard, like, 3 really loud thuds, and they sounded like they're coming downstairs, but they might just be Avery in the room.
Oh, okay.
Odd. Continue.
No, I just wanted to make sure, because you made that face like I might be wrong with how many
no, you're good. I'm just hearing thuds.
Got it. Yeah, they are creating a substantial more wyvern, and there's wyvern everywhere now, and he openly says that wyvern are hatching from the venom, and they're in Zolia, which is so close, and he's just openly like, it's getting daunting to see how many people are there, how close they are. And he just kind of says it. He's like, I just feel like we're 50 years too late. The rain at this point isn't rain. It's just a bunch of flames. Just like...
Yeah. And, she...
And she says, like, they're going to try to translate things faster.
Yeah, and, she does tell him, he's like, well, we did figure out that rain, it's not Iron Rain, it's Iron Flame. Which, oh my gosh, it's the book's name! Oh.
Yeah.
And
we finally get to, like, see it here.
Mm-hmm. And she's like, we're gonna be translating faster, and he's like,
yeah, to get the wards up.
Yeah, and then she's like, oh, like why don't you just change the tactic? And he does say, he's like, well, it's not my decision. Your brother's the tactician, and Surian Ulysses command the army. And she's like, well, it's your city. And he's like, well, the irony's not lost on me, but that's how we do it. And he does say, he's like, your sister ordered me off the field. And I do love how, I know I say it every time, the voice actor did a great job. The narrator did a great job. And, he's like, like, the sarcastic laugh. And he's like, she ordered me. I killed one of them. I was retrieving the dagger. Another problem, I might add, when the second one channeled right behind Sigil. If she had launched a second later, this cake would have gone to waste. And so she's like, she ordered me off the field. And he's just baffled by it. And he was like, she swept me up in a claw, but your sister saw what happened, and that's when she called it a loss. Not because Naira died, or the 3 flyers from the footwing drift, or because we had 5 dragons left. She called it because I was with them, and she wouldn't risk you. And
yeah.
And she was like, is that what she told you? She was like, well, it was really fucking obvious. And
yeah, it's like, she doesn't need to fucking say it.
No.
I saw it. That's exactly what happened.
Yeah, and he's like, I know, and it's like, through the anger and the horror of watching all those civilians flee and watching them die, I realize she is treating me like every marked one has treated you since threshing, like you're a vulnerable extension of me.
Yeah.
I really love this conversation. I love his ramble.
Yeah. And it's crazy because Xaden has never thought that he was, I guess, the weak spot. Mm-hmm. That he was the vulnerable spot, that he could ever do that. And then now that Mira's fighting with him, he's like, yeah, no, actually, I see it.
Yeah. And he's never been able to be the weak one and the vulnerable one. He's never been able to give that chance. And he's like, she does say, she's like, thank you for telling me, but like, as annoying as it is, I get it. We're tethered. And he does say, like, for the rest of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
And so then, their weeks have passed, and they're translating faster. They're getting through, like, the books and stuff like that. And they're still imbuing the stone, and like, because Violet's figured out like the small lightning, she's now able to imbue the stone. And her and Dana, it's like midnight, and they're translating this thing, and they're like, this just isn't making sense. Like, there's just like a couple passages left, and they're like, I hope whatever we need about these wards is going to be these last couple chapters. And Dane also says, he's like, why is this written so well, except for the part of the wards making our life so fucking hard?
Well, yeah, because he was like, it's interesting that the book is written very differently. Some of it is extremely serious, well-worded, and the context of it is extremely detailed. But when it comes to the wards, it's written so casually. There's no details. There's something so nonchalant about it that makes them seem very suspicious, I guess, about the phrasing in the chapters of these books,
Yeah, and I love how he's like, it feels like he's like deliberately trying to fuck with us from the grave.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And, they're really hoping that, like I said, it's in those final, like, 4 entries, because that's all that's left. And, Violet's like, you can go to bed, I'll be there, like, I'm gonna go to bed in a minute, like, you kind of have, like, things to do, go to bed, it's fine. And, he's like, well, like, I'm sure Ryerson's, like, wondering, she's like, he's not here, he's in Drathus, like, it's okay, I'm just gonna stay for a few more minutes. And I do love how he's getting ready to go, and he's like, don't tell him I said this, but I've heard the way he wants to reorganize the combat squads by strength, since the active riders don't have full wing to pull from. And he's like, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
She's like,
I'd never fucking tell him that, but just tell him that it's pretty good,
Yeah. And, so she stays a couple extra minutes, and she's just reading over and over this passage, and she's like, it's just not making sense. And she looks at, like, this symbol that they've been using for blood, and she like goes back and she's like, it's breath. It makes more sense in every context as breath. And she's like, the breath of life. And then she puts together, the 6 were the dragons. They're not talking about the people, they're talking about the dragons. And she immediately goes to Ree and is like, I know how to raise the wards, but I don't know if we should.
Yeah, I don't know if we entirely should. Which is actually where the chapter ends, which is so cool, because we finally get, like, the resolution. She finally, like, gets to do what she wants. We also, like, see Violet, like, really, like, seek out and try to find her center and, reconnect with Dane a little bit. And, we're seeing her and Zayden, like, actually talk and, like, work through things, which is so much fun.
Yeah,
and we also love it.
Love it. And it's also these were really nice, digestible chapters, but as easy as they were, there's still so much emotional stuff that really happened. And I'm really glad we bunched these together. I think it was a very good, like, 3. And so we'll have to see how she's going to raise the wards next week.
Or why she doesn't feel comfortable raising the wards either.
Yeah.
So hopefully we'll find those out.
If you're reading along and you don't know, drop why you think that. But thank you guys so much for joining. We are now going to be shifting into our spoiler section, so if you're here just reading along and you don't want spoilers, we loved having you. This is where I would say stop, because we're going to be talking about huge spoilers that cover the entire series and how these... Yeah, but please hit all of the buttons, like, comment, subscribe, and we have an email list now, so if you'd like to join for some behind-the-scenes content, Q&As, polls, and we have a couple other things that we're going to be adding that are going to be really, really exciting for you guys, so just... go subscribe to that. We're super excited for that. And we have a Buy Me a Coffee now. So if you really like our show and would love to support it in that way, we would really appreciate it as well.
Thank you guys so much. And now we're jumping into the spoiler section with the beginning excerpts. Let's go. We have 3 pretty important things going on. I thought
it was long, so bear with me.
I was like, honestly, chapter 51, so I was like, wow, that beginning excerpt was almost as long as the chapter. It was great, though. Like, I mean,
great. No, these are all great.
As you guys know, we love going over the beginning excerpts. It's definitely so fun.
And as much as we would love to include them in our non-spoilers so they can enjoy it as well, it's just
We've decided for us that we think that it's best to keep it over here because we go into so many spoilers after talking about it, because we do. How could we not,
Yeah, I mean, there's just so much importance. So chapter 49's beginning excerpt is Flyers and riders are held equal in every regard with the exception of wing structure. Riders will maintain their wings, sections, and squad, as well as retain their commands. Every drift will be absorbed by a squad, and their leader will replace the squad's current executive officer for unit cohesiveness and efficiency. Article 2, Section 1 of the Erasure Accord. So it sounds like they're writing a new
type
thing.
Yes, they are writing new, basically, bylaws so that it can include the flyers, as well as makes the drifts a little bit more cohesive. So if we're thinking about it, that means that not Kat, because she's not the squad leader of her thing. It would be her best friend.
Yeah. Marin?
Marin, yes, Marin. I mean, I want to call her something else every time. But it would be Marin. So it'd be Marin and Ree working together now. At like quote unquote like squad leaders and things like that. So that they can try to make it. I think it's going to be
really fun to see those come into play, because I feel like because of Onyx Storm and how it was the never-ending camping trip and they were just kind of going from island to island, we didn't really get to see that go into play as much. And so I'm hoping...
Well, we kind of saw it at the beginning of this chapter when...
That's true, we did.
They are like, oh, you guys are now a part of us,
Yeah. But I think it'll be interesting to see Ree and Marin, like, working together and, like, more on the tacticial side of it.
Yes, I agree.
And so I think that'll be fun, and I think we're going to see more of that in book 4.
I think so too, because we didn't get to see a whole lot of them in book 3, because book 3 is, them trying to get allies, basically.
And find a cure. And so allies and a cure, and so I think they're going to continue to find a cure, but I'm wondering how it's going to shift now that he's ASIM.
We'll have to find out.
But chapter 50's beginning excerpt is Mastery one's signet does not occur at Basgiath, nor in the years directly after. No writer alive truly believes they've reached the limitations of their power. The dead ones might feel differently. Major Friend's Guide to the Rider Squadron, unauthorized edition.
Yeah, it's really interesting when to hear that people alive are like, yeah, no, we don't have full control over our signets, and they're continuing to grow, and we don't know if we'll ever be able to grasp the entire power of it. So interesting to see that. It's
also interesting to me how it's like the dead ones might, whereas like a lot of people consider the Venom like dead. So I'm wondering, like, and we also know like Xaden's power is very much amplified when he's channeling.
We'll see.
I just want to place that into the void. Like, I just think that's really interesting. And it's also said in an earlier beginning excerpt, people crave the power. Like, they don't care about their soul anymore. They crave the power. And then this is kind of saying they don't think they reach the limitations of it until, like, they're dead. And so, interesting wording.
Yeah, because if you think about it, like, most people don't push past the limit because they don't want to. And then once you're dead,
they don't want to channel.
Well, here's the thing is, like, once you're quote-unquote dead, once you've already channeled, once you are Venom, there's no limitations. There's no cap. There's no fear of, of reaching the point of no return, quote-unquote, And so I feel like that would make sense that they feel like that, because once you push past that, there is no limit.
Yeah. And we see it with Xaden and Onyx Storm at the end when he channels to save Sigil, and how even said like his shadows stretch so far. Everything is, in black. And I know that it says in book 1, it's like, oh, I can like do this entire castle. Or this entire fortress or whatever. Yeah. The fortress is a lot smaller than a couple mile radius. And so it's so interesting. And obviously he's grown because he's channeling. Not channeling, but you grow as you...
But his signet has grown because, the constant use and stress and practice of it,
Yeah, but then also channeling really amplifies it. And so even he says, he's like, wow, like the limitless of this is kind of insane. And so I just think it's really interesting to see if that was kind of what I was insinuating, and if that'll come into play.
We'll definitely have to see. I think they're all good things to like think about and look at, and I do think Ashley should move her chair further away so that she stops hitting her elbow, because she hits her elbow like almost every single time, and I can tell that it really hurts.
It does really hurt because it's the same, like but it's nice to have. I just need to get a stand for... Never mind.
It's okay.
Figuring out my arrangement.
We'll work on it.
We got this. And then the last beginning excerpt would be for chapter 51. Many of our most esteemed tacticians have tried to estimate the approaching tipping point, where the outcome of war may have been decided even though we still fight. Many believe that it will come in the next decade. I fear it will arrive much sooner than that. Captain Lear's Dorell's Guide to Vanquishing the Venom, property of Cliffsbane Academy. It's so interesting that it's in the Venom book.
I think it's because they knew that the population was growing so much.
That's true.
And it's also one of those things where it makes sense that it's from the Griffin's archives, because they have known that the Venom have been there, and they have been living on the side with the Venom since Navarre put the wards up, So if you think about it, it makes sense that they're like, hey, it's going to come a lot sooner. There's no way that it can't. So
yeah,
it's very interesting that that's happening.
I agree. And so jumping into the things that we wanted to talk about in our spoiler section, the first one is this crown and how they melted them all for the unification.
Yeah.
I really found this really interesting. So
I
did you
did.
take this one?
I found it really interesting that they would melt down every single symbol of royalty that they had to make this unification circle for Navarre. Like, basically to melt it down and then to present it as a unification circle is really interesting. I also would love to know, where is this unification circle? You know,
Yeah.
we don't get that information yet. And if they did give it, drop it down in the comments so that you can remind me. But I don't even think that we get where it is in Onyx Storm, unless it's in like a chamber very similar to the archival chamber that they went and they stole the journals out of. If that makes sense.
Do you think it's the... Because they said it melted into, like, one crown. Do you think it's the King's Crown of Navarre?
Well, they said that it's a unification circle.
Oh.
They didn't say necessarily it was a crown. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I missed that.
Well, I mean, I guess it could be a crown, because a crown is a circle.
I mean, that's true.
Right, because they said for the unification circle. Don't know what that is.
I don't either. I'm double checking.
But also, it's just
finding the quote so we could read it.
Yeah. And the fact that, you know, they did that when they became allies with Navarre. I'm assuming, because I felt like the unification could only go to Navarre.
Yeah. Okay. Did you know that Tyrandor hasn't had a crown in more than 600 years? It turns out they melted it down to forge the unification crown. So good luck with that. It is a crown. Okay. I'm wondering if it's
so it is a crown. Yes, then most likely it would be, which I find interesting because I wonder what type of runes or magic was already imbued to all of those crowns.
I can't imagine, like, that. I feel like that's really important. Now that I'm sitting back now. Hold on.
That's what I mean.
I was like, wait a minute.
It's really important.
Because I feel like every single crown of, because there's multiple countries in Navarre that they unified, and I guarantee you each crown was imbued or had ruins of certain things. So think how powerful that crown is. Exactly.
It's really something to think about, which is why I was like, I think that this is important and we should talk a little bit about it. Also, in, like, it just seems interesting, especially because, you know, Kat keeps saying, like, I'm in it for the crown, I'm in it for this, I'm in it for that. And then just for Violet to be like, oh, by the way, there's not a crown. You know that, right? You know that that's what's happening. It's kind of funny, but what, like you said, and like I said, the amount of magic that is probably imbued in that crown. I'm like, is that the Navarrian crown? Is that crown like locked away somewhere? Like, is Violet gonna find it in the Temple of Dune? Is she gonna be like, is she gonna like come out riding Terran with a crown? Not that like, I'm like, I mean, first of all, visually that'd be sick.
That'd be so cool.
Second of all, pretty cool, you know. I don't know.
Do you think the crown is gonna have something to do with the cure for venom? I think the only cure is if they try.
I don't think I don't know. I don't know, or I don't know if the crown is going to be the perfect conduit for Violet to be able to finish the final battle. Because she has the little conduit right now. Because if it's Ooh, exactly. Because she has the little conduit right now. That's why I'm like, maybe Violet should have this crown. Just because like it could act as a more powerful conduit for her, which could be beneficial. Yeah. You know? Yeah. Because like we find out that like she imbues like little conduits and like spreads them around the battlefield as basically like fucking lightning bombs, for lack of better
terms. Which is so cool.
Which is cool. So we know that she can do that. So it would be interesting to know what if. Well, okay, so I'm so sorry that. What if she like imbues the crown like
that question?
What if she imbues a crown with like a lot of lightning, and then it's kind of like she. Like, it's not as big of a battle as we think that it is between her and Xaden. What if she imbues the crown and, you know, it's like the kind of like semblance of like, oh, we're going to crown him king of, you know, Navarre and everything because he's in his villain era. And then they place the crown on his head. And sorry, I'm like, yeah. And then lightning. And then
that'd
death.
be so good.
Or that would also be a very epic death.
That'd be so good. Or like they put it on his head and it's I don't know if she apologizes, but like
No, I think she still says I'll love you forever as she's placing it on his head because I know for a fact it's going to be her.
Absolutely it's going to be her. But it's
It's a very interesting thing to think about.
Yeah. I think it's going to have something. It has to do she wouldn't have mentioned it like that. I don't know. It seems important. I think it has to do something with Xaden.
And then Violet like learning in these chapters that she is like a very specific type of energy field and that she could create a lot more control just by being aware of her energy flow.
Yeah.
So I think that would be definitely something really, really interesting to see. Before we get into the other ones, I'm going to just bring it up now. Chapter 49, when Dane and Violet have these conversations, that's the conversation that solidifies that he would only die for her. You can't tell me when that man looks at her and says, "Are you actually in love with him?" And then says, "I'm going to trust him like you trust him," which is, first of all, ludicrous. But good for him. Second of all, it just solidifies that Dane is willing to swallow his pride, number one, as well as he is willing to have just a platonic relationship and not love her the way that he has always loved her. Does that make sense?
He's still
like it's no longer going to be a romantic love. Yeah, he's willing to sacrifice his romantic love to have his to keep her in his life, which is why I'm like, he's not going to die for anybody else. Literally. Like, he's not going to do it. I fucking refuse. And this conversation is the conversation that solidifies it in my mind that he is going to die for Violet.
When I was listening to this conversation, I immediately was like, I know what Kaylee's going to talk about on the podcast.
Immediately. He, like, here's the thing is, it is, and I'm not going to, like, here's the thing is, I'm going to give him his flowers here. It takes an extremely strong person to let go of romantic feelings for somebody because you want them in your life so badly. You're like, at this point, I don't care. Like, I love you so much that I'm willing to give that part up of myself. I'm willing to give that part up of myself to give you the things that you want. And I'm willing to stand by your side and watch you be happy. I'm willing to stand by your side and watch you be miserable. I'm willing to stand by your side and see you take those mistakes. I'm willing to stand by your side and watch you fall in love with somebody else that is not me. And I think that first of all is just, it is a very painful experience to watch somebody fall in love with somebody, especially if you were already in love with them. Like, it's really hard. And it's also like, it takes a really big person to like openly say, I'm still happy. I'm happy for you, and I'm happy that I found this part. But also, yeah, that man's gonna die for her. I don't care. Yep, that's it. Thank you. That's my rant. As well as I did want to like point out in this chapter, she also says it. Violet says, my love for him will never change. And it's interesting that we see this here, where she says this, and this is not the first time that she's kind of said this, but it's interesting that we see it here right after Xaden in the previous like chunk of chapters said that nothing you could do would ever change my love for you. Like, there's no line that you could cross. And then she basically says it, and then we get Riddick that like pushes her to. Here's the thing is, we say, oh, it's great that like Violet has a line, and I know this is gonna sound maybe just toxic on my end. I think that she only drew the line for her friends. I don't think that she did it because she actually has a line for herself. I think she did it to say it to make her friends feel like it's okay to jump over the fucking ledge with her. And I know that that sounds like really like shitty of me to be like, oh, she did it for Riddick. She did it for her friend. She did it for her family. But the conversation that she has with Riddick in Onyx Storm is devastating because I really do believe she's only doing it for them. I don't think that she has that line. And I think that that's why her saying this to Dane, that is it. She's never... And it's also like the idea of like, okay, you can break up with somebody and still be in love with them for like crossing your boundary. And I hope that that's what she does, but I don't think that she is... And here's why. Another reason why I don't think that she's going to, and why I think that she only drew the line for her friends at that point in time, is because Rebecca Yarros has made it very clear that there's going to be a lot of dream walking and dream sex and like dream intimacy. And that's how I think she's going to keep her relationship with Xaden in complete secret and be like, oh yeah, like we're not talking. But by the way, she's fucking talking to him the entire fucking time. So I also think like, it's like one of those things where it's like, I also think that even though, I have my own opinions about that shitty type of signet, I think that she's going to use it to also lie to her friends. Which is going to be really shitty to see, but I think that that is also going to be a thing that happens, and I just think that that's a thing.
I think...
Welcome to my TED Talk, Ashley.
No problem. Thank you for inviting me. I think that, like you said, you could still be in love with somebody and break up with them.
For sure.
So I'm curious. I think she'll always love him, and I don't think that'll ever go away. And I don't think she has a line, and she did it for her friends. But I think, when, let's say, I mean, our theory is that he's going to kill Ree, so we're going to go along with that. Absolutely. When he kills Ree, he crossed the line, and that's going to, I think it's going to be a really hard moment for her having to come to grips. But I think he's going to kill her, and it's not going to be an immediate battle.
Oh, absolutely not. I think there's definitely going to be a couple
time of her coming to terms with, and Riddick literally have to go, he crossed the line. You need to end this.
Yeah.
Like, that's not Xaden. Like you told me that is not Xaden.
Yeah.
If he did that. And so I think it's going to be and then the big battle will happen.
Yeah. But I also think that, like, in the meantime, there's going to be a lot of, like, dream type of fucking therapy trying to happen. Like, she's going to try to do that. Like, she's going to be like, she's going to, like, happen? She's going to try to justify why he fucking did it. And it's going to be one of those things where you're like, okay, give it up. And Riddick is, I think, this is also the other reason why I was like, I don't know if this line is actually real, is I think that she's going to be like, yeah, like, I'm going to give it up. And something's going to happen and she's going to have to choose. And I think she's going to choose Xaden every time.
Yeah.
And
we're gonna have to see. I'm really excited to see how this plays out. I think
we're gonna get to see like that look of realization in one of her friend's eyes of, oh,
yeah,
and that's it. And I'm really excited. I'm like, this is it. Because also, like, here's the thing: is like the other reason why I think that Violet is setting the line for her friends is I think Violet is just as toxic as Xaden and wants to keep him forever as well. So yes, I don't think that is really a thing. So, okay, that was really like, Yeah, we'll have to see. I
think it could go both ways. I don't think she's going to honor the line, but I could also see her getting so mad about it.
Yes. Yeah. I'm not going to say that there's not going to be like mad feelings or things like that. I'm just saying that I don't think that that's necessarily going to happen.
You know what would be really interesting? And I don't think will happen, but it'd be interesting. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're going to go with he kills Reese, she goes back and really has to contemplate it. And really is contemplating it. And she knows she can't do it alone. And she goes to Kat to amplify her rage so she can do it. I think it'd be interesting if she went. I think it would be interesting, but I think that I would. And I need your help to amplify my rage about it.
Yeah, I think it would be a cop out. Yeah, I'm gonna be so honest. I think it would be a cop out. I think if she did that, I think that would be a way for her to be able to blame Kat for it, and I think that's shitty of her. I think that's real shitty of her, and I think that's also like real shitty of her to do. Like if she did do that, I think it'd be even. Yeah, I think that'd be shitty of her to like put that on Kat. But then not only that is like, that's not what Zayden asked. No, he asked for Violet. Like I think that's period. That's all I got to say about that. I was like, I don't know. It does sound interesting and could be a really interesting thing to like think about. But and maybe in a different situation. I think that it's shitty and just as toxic as not having that line. I agree. But with it's also like one of those things where it's like you meet people all the time that regardless, they'll never have a line. And it is like, that is it. They don't have lines, and regardless of what happens in their life, regardless of whether or not like that person's partner like openly hurts their friends or is like openly hurting them, and it doesn't matter how many times their friends are like, hey, are you sure that you're okay? Like, is this like a situation you want to be in? They're going to still say, no, I love them till the day that I die, and I'll never love anybody else, and that's it. And it's one of those things where it's like, you got to like be like, hey, that's great. I love that for you. Hate watching this, but we're here and we're going to support you however I can through whatever. Yep. Regardless if I personally think that you are making the right choice. You know, at the end of the day, it is your life. It is your thing. And that's what I think friends do for a lot of their friends. And I think that's what, you know, is part of being a good friend. And so I know that eventually her friends will support her through her really shitty decisions, but I also think that that would be a lot to put on Kat. Yeah. And I'm curious to see, because Riddick made her draw the line, how he will react to it. I think it's going to be very interesting. And then maybe Violet has her villain era in season 5, book 5. Who knows? We'll see. I know that the book 4 is not going to end happy, and I'm so ready for it. Like, she was like, oh, if you don't like sad endings, just wait till book 5. I know, right? And I'm very excited to hear that. And also, it's like, you know, like here, these are the first chapters we're really seeing, like, Zayden be anxious, you know, like we kind of said earlier, be anxious about the war and be like, hey, like, we're really, you know, thinking that this might be it. We might be too late. This, you know. And it is nice and, like, to how close the Venom are and everything like that. Like, we knew they were a threat, but, like, as we're getting to the end of this book, it's amplifying. And it's like, oh, like, because they've kind of just been not lollygagging, but just like, oh, we're doing this and we're doing that. And now it's like, no, fuck, look, this is the first time Zayden's been really fucking anxious. And this is the first time it's like, no, like, they're an hour away. Yeah. They can get here at any time. And we're just an inconvenience to them. Mm-hmm. It's also like one of those things where it's like, I think this is great foreshadowing of what's going to happen at the end of the book, because even though this is the first time we're hearing Violet like witness his anxiety and his worry, I think he's been feeling this for a while now. Oh, for sure. Every single time he comes back and he's like a little bit grumpy and like he's like, no, it's fine, it's whatever, like they're just getting closer, it's cool. But you know, now we're finally getting to see it. And we also, it foreshadows how anxious he is during the final battle and how he didn't trust Violet to do it in time, because she was taking a minute to, like, do the wards. Yeah. And how he's like, oh, I got a channel because he
Like,
Yeah,
it's taking too long, and I don't have enough power. And he was like not dying, but he was really drained.
Yeah. Like he was to the point of burnout, and it's like when you hit burnout, and your dragon like lies in the balance, and you're waiting for this person who's taking fucking forever. And here's the thing: is like,
you gonna do?
Yeah, like what else are you gonna do? So you can see that he's finally getting desperate. He's getting more and more desperate by the end of that, and I like that these chapters are, foreshadowing that. But very excited to see like what the next chapters hold, and what's, what we like find and discover a little bit more in Onyx. But I think that's kind of it.
That was it
for what we have for our spoilers. So we want to say thank you guys so much for coming, tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe, download. Also, once again, don't forget we do have our brand new links for our email list that you can sign up for, get some Q&As, some exclusive content, and polls, and much more other and other things that are to come that are still in the works that we are super, super excited for, as well as if you did want to support us in any type of way, we do have a Buy Me a Coffee link as well. And thank you guys so much for your support. We love you so much. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. And the last thing that we have to say to you is...
what did the void say to you?